moving on to some of the harassment, discrimination, and retaliation related bills. We have AB 3369. This involves the entertainment industry. It's a new law. It's effective immediately, requiring harassment training. So existing law, and I wanted to point this out and remind employers on the call that we do have this requirement that by January 1st, 2021, employers with 5 or more employees need to have the training, 2 hours of interactive sexual harassment prevention training for supervisors and 1 hour of training for all non-supervisory employees in California. And that has to be in place by January 1st, 2021, by the end of this year. And then this training has to be redone every 2 years, once every 2 years. So that's a reminder about that. And this new law now requires, is requiring the harassment training in the entertainment industry, but it's going to exempt an employer from the sexual harassment training requirements if the employee has already received this required training from an employer, and or if they've been issued a valid work permit by the labor commissioner that required the employee to receive the required training within the last 2 years. So the law requires that the employee receive the training every 2 years thereafter. So you're going to have to track that. And sorry, I'm seeing my notes that the audio is going in and out. I'll get closer to the mic here. So that's on the entertainment front. On the on AB 1947, there's a new development on when to file with the labor commissioner.
Yeah, so the effective January 1, 2020, employees who believe that they've been discharged or otherwise discriminated against in violation of any law that's enforced by the labor commissioner will have 1 year to make a complaint about that to the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement Unit. And currently, the law says that the employee had to make that complaint within 6 months. And this new law also amends the Labor Code provision section 1102.5 to authorize courts to award reasonable attorney fees to plaintiffs who bring successful whistleblower civil cases under that code section.
Thanks, Ann. And then I put this new law, SB 973, under this category. It's involving employers' annual reporting of pay data to the state of California. It's a new obligation that on or before March 31st, starting here in 2021, employers must annually submit pay data report to the Department of Fair Employment and Housing. This applies to all private employers with 100 or more employees and who are required to file the annual employer information report, the EEO-1, pursuant to federal law. So this is a separate reporting requirement going to the state of California. And what's going on with this new law, the Trump administration, for employers that file these EEO-1 reports, understand that the Obama administration implemented some new requirements to report pay data based on race and gender and more detailed information than what was required under the traditional EEO-1, and it's called the Component 2 section. The Trump administration stopped the collection of Component 2. It's actually still tied up in the courts right now. There was some employers had to report it for 2 years, I believe. They aren't reporting that on the federal level anymore, but the state stepped in and said, well, we're going to collect it here on the state level now going forward. So for employers with 100 or more employees, you need to be looking at this and getting ready to file this by March 31st. And underlying it is California's Equal Pay Act. And this law requires employers to pay everybody equally based on race, gender, national origin, any protected category. And the law permits the Department of Fair Employment and Housing to enforce the Equal Pay Act in addition to the Labor Commissioner's Office. So what we expect is that they'll be looking at this data and potentially pursuing some administrative actions against employers if they're seeing anomalies in that data. So employers should be looking at that and looking at any potential issues on that front too, on how that data might be interpolated and what to do about that going forward here before the March 31st deadline.